Many decisions have led to today. Decisions producers in the early 2000s, my parents not really noting the things I was watching on Fox, Joe Rogan, and whatever psychopath decided to make a show called Fear Factor in 2001, only to bring it back recently. And that's today. A few months ago, I was talking about the America's Next Top Model documentary that came out on Netflix a while back. And one of the things that I kind of talked about in passing is the landscape of reality television during the early 2000s. One thing I also mentioned was Fear Factor and how I remember it and it was really bad and they should have never did it and there must be repercussions for a show like that, only to find out soon after that not only were there repercussions, kind of, sort of, not really, it was just because of money that they took it down. It wasn't because of, I don't know, any of the heinous shit they did to participants. They actually brought it back. So we learned nothing. If anything, we learned that it's still good for TV. Fear Factor would come out in the early 2000s, centered to be a competitor of sorts to Survivor. Survivor, one of CBS's most popular shows at the time. And the general idea of a reality show in which you push your physical, mental, emotional capabilities to the brink were becoming more and more popular and generally less expensive to make. So you don't have to worry about scripting it, so you can put it on TV and send it out to the unsuspecting masses. However, the thing that made Fear Factor particularly different outside of its premise is that it was expensive to make and had a lot of moving parts, many of which were finding worms, stunt people, participants who'd be willing to risk it all for less than $100,000. They were doing this shit every week for $50K. I know it was the early 2000s, but for $50K is crazy. Who wants to be a millionaire? You technically could have been giving away $1 million every day or every week or whatever the but no. These niggas was eating worms and going home with at most $50K. I don't know what to say. Don't let times be that hard. I don't know. It's easy to say than not, but I'm sure there were other things you could have did before going on fucking Fear Factor. If you're unfamiliar or uninitiated, Fear Factor was a show in which 6 contestants would come on, do challenges with progressively more frightful and disgusting, often twists and turns. And each of the challenges would implement some type of common fear. A fear of heights, a fear of bugs, a fear of the dark. And we, the voyeuristic fucks that we were, would just sit there and watch these 6 people have a full-on mental health crisis, again, for less than $100,000 a week. Being that this show is about fears, and phobias in particular, keep that in mind. We will be talking about dealing with various things that are often a fear of people. Bugs, snakes, heights, drowning, tight spaces. Basically anything that they could use to torture you. They were going to do it for 8 p.m. on Fox. Oh, vomit occasionally. A lot of eating of gross things. Feeling, touching gross things. So if any of that is too much for you, maybe watch my VOD channel where you can watch me kick a squirrel on accident. Never mind. No, maybe I'll see you in the next one. But first, hi. Skinner here. New around here. Welcome, not new around here. What is up, home skill biscuit? I don't want to complain about house stuff again, so I won't. Instead, I figured out how to make egg coffee. And I'm really excited about it. If you follow me on Bluesky, I've been talking about how I am absolutely obsessed with Vietnamese egg coffee. If you don't know what it is or it sounds gross to you, hear me out. It is base of Vietnamese Robusta coffee. Something that is dark, chocolatey, like a very distinct chocolate note in the coffee. And then what you do is you make a foam, a cream actually, I think is a better word for it, out of egg yolks and sweetened condensed milk, and you put it on top, and it is delightful. And because I've moved, I'm nowhere near the place that I discovered it like 2 weeks before I moved. And so now I've brought my hyperfixation to my home. And though we're talking about gross things today, at least I'll have my coffee afterwards. Simple pleasures. What can I say? Is there anything else I want to talk about? I don't feel like really going into other things. I don't think there's that much. My makeup was a bitch to put on today. You can't see it because I'm a fucking wizard. But this shit was fucking with me. I had patches. My eye was doing weird shit. Shit started watering. Hopefully that's not indicative of the filming process. It'll be fine. Okay, so that's all my little catch-ups. So let's send it over to Admiral Kenny. Thank ya. Hi everyone, it's Admiral Kenny, and today's video is sponsored by Raycon. You tired of me complaining about moving yet? Sorry. Because it's really relevant for how much I love these headphones, Doc. Raycon has been keeping me sane, okay? The Raycon Everyday Clip earbuds have been coming in clutch. They're my new favorite Raycons. It feels like every time they send me something, I'm like, wow, these are better than the last ones. Because if you guys are aware, I really like the Essential Open earbuds, and these are like their somewhat semi-in-ear hot sister. I don't know, because I've been ripping and running all over the house, moving things, packing things, unpacking things, putting things away. And the only thing that keeps me sane through all of that is having headphones in and something to keep me entertained as I lock in, but also doesn't obscure my hearing so much that I can't hear my dog being too quiet, something dropping, someone knocking on the door, ringing the doorbell. And they're great quality. They deliver clear, dynamic, balanced sound. And probably one of the most impressive things about Raycon products overall is their battery life is insane. I had these on all day yesterday and they did not die until I went to bed. It went to bed when I did. And it was up when I was up. Easily 8, maybe even 12 hours. They say 8. So I'm gonna say 8, but I think I pushed it a little more. But if you don't believe me or the myriad people that love Raycon online, feel free to check them out for 30 days risk-free. The Everyday Clip earbuds are a perfect addition to your everyday routine. And if you would like to check them out, you can go to buyraycon.com/KennieClip to get 15% off your pair. Big thanks to Raycon for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get on to the debauchery, baby. So again, for those of you that are unfamiliar with the show, it was incredibly popular in the early 2000s when it hit the scene. It was supposed to be a direct competitor to Survivor, which I never really got into. I think something about Survivor, isn't there like a continuity with it? Like you got to know what the general like storyline is to know what that, like I didn't feel like doing that. I wanted to watch a compact 30 minutes of some debaucherous shit and then go about my day. I had other things to do. I was coloring. I wasn't even doing long division yet. I really shouldn't have been. I was learning how to add my fours. I was doing my fours times tables. It was definitely one of the shows that were on the more edgy side of the reality TV competition landscape. I think what's interesting in comparison to other reality shows that I feel generally speaking tend to gear towards a female audience, Fear Factor had a guy stink around it. It wasn't on Spike TV for men, but I'm pretty sure they probably played reruns there. I wouldn't be surprised. It had that vibe. Explosions, watching women in bikinis get in goo. Joe Rogan. For those of you that are unfamiliar with Joe Rogan prior to how we know him today, he was a comedian and host of this show, actually. He also hosted some other dude-related things. I think it was the host of The Guy Show or The Man Show, The Dude Show. Niggas. I don't know. It was a show that was like a comedy sketch show about men and men's problems. Women nagging you, drinking beer and watching football and looking at cheerleaders bounce up and down on a trampoline. And, this would be Joe Rogan prior to him, inviting fascists, neo-fascists, pseudo-fascists, fascism, people that don't want you to wash your hands so that you can have immunity, Robert Kennedy. Side note, people getting health advice from Robert Kennedy is truly the bleakest fucking timeline. He sounds like a dying frog and you're like, yeah, I bet he knows how to tell me how to stay healthy. Fuck off. He stole a bear carcass. The format of the show is essentially contestants come on, they participate in a 3-round challenge that get progressively more extreme, and it can range from anywhere between stunts, a lot of on top of moving buses and cars, a lot of balancing on high support beams, on fucking, skyscrapers and shit like that, swimming with snakes, being covered in bees, having a monster truck drive over you. And again, This was for $50,000. Just rob a bank. Like, honestly, it could have been, have you considered white collar fraud? There were so many things we could have did before we got on here. Rob an old lady, I'm joking because some of y'all don't know, apparently. And essentially, you'd be asked whether or not something was too extreme for you, if you're too afraid. Are you the show? Many people would attempt it and fail, regardless of if fear was a factor or not. They sent you home because you failed. What is probably most surprising is that most people didn't say no very often. I do think there's a certain type of person that comes onto the show that has accepted a certain level of debauchery. Even if you came on being vegan, if $50,000 at the line, you probably gonna eat pig tonight, bitch. But that was the general idea of it. And it just sounded like a big legality clusterfuck, like a liability clusterfuck. Did they have insurance? I don't fucking know. Probably not enough. But surprisingly, no one died. Spoiler. I know. They had to take off To Catch a Predator because somebody killed themselves, but no. We were doing a solid one to catch predators, and no, we had to take the shit down. But Fear Factor is making niggas lick leeches off of each other, and ooh. The seasons are available online, for better or worse. Also, for better or worse, this may or may not inspire you to watch the show. This was allowed to be on television in 2001, but the moment Janet Jackson's titty shows to the world, suddenly, oh my God, we gotta strap down. This is too much. Had niggas eat salmon sperm and shit, but no. We saw a titty and lost their fucking mind. I remember niggas was more mad that she was over 40 woman and we saw her titty, because egad, nobody wants to see that shit. Fuck y'all. But, this show wasn't pushing the envelope too much for, again, probably the mostly male targeted audience. I don't know if that actually appeared in who actually watched the show. But as you can imagine, for a show like this, it is kind of inevitable that I would have innumerable controversies. One of the things that the show theoretically or implicitly has involved is the idea that you're facing your fears, but you won't get hurt. You're coming incredibly close to the edge, but you have safety harnesses. So like, even though you're afraid of heights, you won't fall. You're eating a worm, but we would never give you something that would make you sick. It's just kind of gross. But that's not always the case. Years later on the Joe Rogan Experience, he would recount the bull situation. You have this tiny little blonde woman, tiny little white girl, and it seems like everyone, including Joe Rogan, is like, hey, maybe we shouldn't put the 100-pound white woman soaking wet on the fucking bull. But they do. Oh, look how young he is. What a douche. What a douchebag looking motherfucker.
I want to do well, but I don't want anyone to get hurt.
Ha! Leave the clip. I don't want nobody to get hurt knowing that bitch is going to die. Oh my God. Oh.
Got the thing knocked out of me. I don't know.
All right, Kristen.
Don't clap for her. Like, you got it. Good job. You roughed it out. Ooh. It kicked her in the spine. They saw this, nearly dead. Could have hit her head. Could very easily have paralyzed her. Let's run this shit back. Also, I think there's also something to be said about stunt people in general, because they are treated like shit as well. There is no way you get paid enough to be a stunt person if you see the shit that stunt people do. So you bring stunt people on who have been abused and oppressed by the system to bring on and talk to other people who aren't even stunt people, just people that are apparently hard up. Again, there's other ways to make $50,000, baby. You could do porn. Niggas was selling feet pics. You don't have to meet Joe Rogan and eat bull testicles. You don't have to do it. Which, as a side note, I heard they ain't bad. They cut them up real thin and fry them and call them Rocky Mountain oysters in some areas. And people think I'm weird when I say I would try it. But, though I have not really allowed myself to ruminate on this particular aspect of it, I do think that there is something to be said with the correlation between it being a very male-centered or male-focused show and it also being kind of torture porny. There is like an eroticism to it, the original show, that is very disturbing. It's something I'd imagine somewhere in the same headspace as like dudes that are really into watching slashers where the bimbo gets stabbed or whatever. There's a kind of vibe of it that's... Because, like, licking leeches or whatever the fuck off of somebody else's body in a bikini is particular. As you can see, they do have a whole team of people that are there for safety. How safe can you be at some point? There is a certain element of just fuck it, we ball. Are you p***y? You seem p***y. Though, surprisingly, no one died on this show. I don't know why you brought this fucking show back. I guess that goes into why it was actually pulled originally. It wasn't originally pulled for any of the controversies like people getting hurt, possibly losing mobility. Though they're stunt people, trained stuntmen on set, the people doing this is just like a guy that works at Kinko's. So good for them that they know how to be a stuntman, but I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to do for Brad. Even if you are a stuntman, there were several stunt people that got injured because safety mechanisms weren't working correctly. Sure, any of those myriad reasons could be why they took the show down, but that is not why they took it down. It was because it cost too fucking much to film this shit on a weekly basis. You have stunt people, their insurance must have been fucking insane. You have all these stunt vehicles, explosions. Where the fuck are you finding all these goddamn worms? I don't know if it's expensive to find a bunch of fucking tarantulas and shit. So as you can imagine, it acquired a lot of controversy. There was the woman in the bull. Injuries for stunt people, animal abuse accusations, and it's not even like normal animal abuse. They blended a rat in one episode, on episode 100, as the big go big or go home. They made a rat smoothie and had them drink it for $50,000. Y'all not selling your pussy more expensive enough, because there's no way that this should be your most viable option. Have you considered hooking? Unfortunately, for better or worse, there is a YouTube channel devoted to clips of Fear Factor. There's a clip in relation to the rat smoothie that I refer to. It's actually called Rat Stew. May or may not keep this in the final edit.
Blended rat. Oh, yeah, baby. Go. Come on, Nicole. Yeah. Don't eat it for nothing. Come on.
Don't eat it for nothing. Oh my God. Joe is a slap in the face. You're already in this situation that's really fucked up. And then you have this buff white dude just staring at you and it's like, you got it. You got it. Fuck you. But good to know that they deboned it before they went in the blender, you know. Safety first. If that weren't bad enough, that they have them drinking rat stew in the middle of New York City. One component, nuance, if you will, that I had forgotten about until revisiting, is that part of the challenge is that you aren't allowed to vomit until they say so. There's like a time period post any of the things that you consume before you're allowed to vomit off screen. And if you do vomit before that, you're disqualified. Imagine, you think you won eating rat stew in the middle of New York City. You just ate Remy. You think you win, but because your body is a human body, it vomits. And we did this all for $50,000. Bitch. I could have sold I'm sorry. I would sell way before this. I am shoving cocaine up every orifice I have before I'm going on fucking Fear Factor. Absolutely not. You can find a 5-pound bag of marijuana shoved up my ass. There is no way. Absolutely the fuck not. Speaking of MTV, it was also out in the same time as like The Wild Boys. This is around when Jackass came out and fucking Steve-O was drinking beer from a keg up his ass. And that one guy, bam, bam, fuck, when he was shaving his own girlfriend's head. That's abuse, by the way. Pranks of the time period. And so like everyone's like fucking fighting to be a part of this circle jerk of the most like attention getting thing. And this is all before social media. So it's like we were always hopeless. It was always bad. And then of course, perhaps their most controversial is one in my notes that is just called Donkey Juice. This is gonna be for my weird niche bitches. I love a weird niche situation. I did a video on John R. Brinkley, who did testicle implants. In this like predecessor way, maybe the donkey juice segment is related. Should I explain what donkey juice is in reference? Let me just watch it first.
Factor juice stand. And this is what we'll be serving. Donkey semen.
I knew it.
Oh my God. And urine. Oh
Whoa!
my God.
Whoa!
Oh, goodness.
I figured that's what it was. I didn't expect the urine. The urine one did throw me. How are they making sure they're not getting STDs? Like, well, what the fuck? Wait a second. That is how we got syphilis. Because people was fucking around with manatees and shit. But no, we got a new outbreak. A new super gonorrhea because fucking Joe Rogan in 2001 was making people drink urine and semen from a donkey. All these clips are just available on YouTube, by the way. Because it was on 8 p.m. on Fox. Not even cable.
We'll be playing horseshoes. You'll stand on this line and you will throw your horseshoe towards that pin.
The way that they denote the amount, actually, is through a horseshoe game. Everyone's gonna drink or urine, but the amount you drink is depicted by how well you do in a simple horseshoe game. And then at 8 p.m. on Channel 12, we watch 21-year-olds drink donkey by the ounce. Not even like a little bit. How many donkeys? How many donkeys did you have to jack off to have 30 ounces of in a pitcher? I'm sorry. They were drinking 30 ounces of, but no, Janet Jackson's titty for 3 seconds was far too much for the American psyche. We were fucked up because we saw a black, that was 2011. They got away with this shit in 2011. I think wilder, who'd have thought, than the idea that this was happening on television. Again, post Janet Jackson. She couldn't sing fucking So Excited. I'm hot, come on. So ready. Now I give my spot for you every time you want me to. So you can act bad. Don't hurt me, look sexy, talk to. Anyway, this didn't happen that, I mean, it was a long time ago, but not as long ago as I thought or remembered. This episode was aired in 2011. It was controversial in the way that they were obviously looking for. By the ounce is insane. How many fucking donkeys were you milking? That should be a part of the animal abuse as well. Yeah, none of those were the reasons why the show got cut. It was because of ratings. Capitalism! Capitalizing once again. It was controversial, the way that they were looking for. And essentially what ended up happening is that people were like, okay, I think we've moved past Fear Factor as a society. We don't need Fear Factor anymore. And so many people attribute this to the end of the show originally. Arguable, because if they were still getting good ratings or whatever, I think the show would have stayed on. But after that, people were like, that's fucking gross. And again, costs a lot of money. I mean, where are you going to find all the milkers? The show is a cockroach in and of itself. Like, it keeps coming back. Because you might think, like, oh, they brought it back. Nigga, the show started in 2001. It lasted for like 5 years. It disappeared, came back in 2011, and then we had the donkey pitcher thing. Lasted maybe a season or two, came back again, hosted by Ludacris on MTV Reboot, whatever the fuck that is. And now they're back again. And it's hosted by Johnny fucking Knoxville. Kill me. So now they have two things now called Fear Factor, House of Fear, and Fear Factor, Hours of Fear. And they are Fox produced. Isn't it great to know that the lessons have been learned? Love that. Okay. I hate Tyra Banks, but I do think it's important to reiterate that this is the milieu she was existing in. So I get partially, I am reminded why she's like, we gotta go bigger and bigger. They're drinking donkey over a fucking Fear Factor. They're blending up rats. We gotta do something. We gotta make these bitches pose in front of homeless people. And at some point, the Coke fever dream just reached a fever pitch. Of all the things that surprised me, this one does not surprise me at all. Joe Rogan ends up getting into probably a steroid-ridden fight with one of the competitors on there. I don't even know what the challenge was. A woman went underwater in a dark hole. There was an alligator Safety? I don't know what the fuck that means. What do you mean safety? What are they gonna do? He's gonna bite her head off. And he was like, oh, well, we had professionals on site. We did what we could. She doesn't want to do it because she's like, I'd rather not die. Her partner, because it was like a duo thing, gets upset. And then it devolves into white crackhead Olympics. What the fuck are they even supposed to be doing in this?
No! Victoria, they're lose! Go back there! Damn it! He's supposed to!
She's having a panic attack. She could drown. There's an alligator there. It could have bit her. On top of it already being this incredibly antagonizing circumstance, the component of being a competition for, again, a shockingly low amount of money for some of this shit. Less than $100,000 to drink donkey. Maybe at most, I think they raise it eventually up to $200,000. Getting a new strand of syphilis just for TV attention, and and then they want you to pay taxes on it. Bitch, imagine paying taxes on $200,000 that you got by drinking donkey. They'd have to take me to jail. They'd have to take me like fucking Wesley Snipes. No, I earned this shit. On top of that, already being in an antagonistic situation, there's also the component that everyone's fighting for the same amount of money. No one's your fucking friend. There's sabotage, mental mind games on top of bees and shit. And then there were situations in which those passions bled over.
This is dead weight! She's get a new woman! She's dead weight! Oh, damn it!
Come on over here.
I am not happy.
You are the biggest
Oh!
planet.
Hey! What are you doing? What are you doing? You can't assault people.
Is that the Miz? Somehow we always come back to WWE. If you think of the machinations of the de-evolution of America, if you can even call it evolved at one point at all, is that somewhere along the line, it was Vince McMahon's fault. That episode has The Miz, who is a WWE wrestler from the time period. And oh my God, I've been sitting here for 2 hours talking about this in an effort to not like bog all of us down. Somehow everything is Epstein's fault and Vince McMahon. If you look back on both of those are the ones that brought it to you. But anyway, and I guess Joe Rogan too, but I don't think he's smart enough to be that machinations wise. I think he's a fucking useful dumb idiot. I say all that to say, this is the background of Fear Factor. This is what we're coming from. Truly slop television for the sake of time and leave you with a little suspense. I've yet to watch the new version of it, but what I was thinking, I have heard that they've been approved for a second season. Do with that what you will. If you guys are interested, I'll let you know. Perhaps have we learned something since the days of yore? Have we progressed as a society since 2001? No. If anything, it's just a layered circle, a loop, if you will, coming back to the worst parts of us. If anything, this feels like white Zeus Network. I'm saying that as a person that doesn't watch Zeus. I just hear you. But anyway, this video was a bit of a mess, but so is Fear Factor. So deal with it. And if you liked today's video and a walk down reality show memory lane, feel free to like today's video. Follow me on social media, Instagram and Bluesky, both of which are KennieJD. Follow me on Twitch and my VOD channel, NotKennieTV. I'll put a clip of something really funny I said right here. Oh no!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I'm sorry.
That scream startled the
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
You got me started.
We gotta get going. Oh, open the door!
You gotta open the door! Put your brick down!
Oh my god.
Oh, that scream was genuine. That was fear.
And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.